Hey, what's up guys? Temple Cattle here, and today I've got a Johanna guide for you. I'm going to go through my standard talents on Johanna and then discuss any sort of flexibility and variations you can make depending on the game. At level 1, my default pick is Laws of Hope. Due to the recent Johanna health buffs, her health pool is now extremely large, and being able to activate and heal for 30% of that gives you some pretty crazy sustain, plus you get a little bit of health regen on top of it, and it just makes you extremely durable in team fights. Other options at this tier are really good as well. If for some reason you need the cooldown on Iron Skin, which is the main value in this talent, you can take Hold Your Ground in some high CC comps where you're really trying to not get bursted. If they have like a Garrosh, for example, where you don't want to get flipped and you want higher uptime, could go Hold Your Ground. Same thing goes for Reinforce. The physical armor on abilities actually scales extremely well with the health buffs also. So if you're playing against something like Rainer and Phoenix and you're going to get a ton of value on the block charges, you could consider going Reinforce, though I do tend to go Laws of Hope almost every game. At level 4, I usually go Sins Exposed. With some slight meta shifts now, you usually end up lacking on wave clear every once in a while, since some of the assassins that are popular nowadays don't really have that great burst wave clear as, say, mages like Jaina do. And since you see a little less of these, it makes a lot of sense to go Sins Exposed at 4, since it allows Johanna to almost one-shot a full wave simply with EWQ, and if she has just one ally there to give her a little more burst, then the wave dies instantly. Another option here is Conviction. If you really need to be able to engage and play quick fights and you're not playing the sustained game, then you get a lot of value off the move speed. But most of the time with Johanna, since she's not the very mobile, hard engaged tank, fights tend to go a little longer, so you get a little more value out of having the bonus damage on your E. At level 7, the pick is Blessed Momentum, almost always. You're getting more value out of longer fights. All your basic ability cooldowns get lowered every time you auto, which means you get more condemns, more Qs, you get more value out of your level 4 talent, and you're also going to get more value out of your other talents later. So Blessed Momentum just kind of gives her just a little more teamfight presence overall, rather than being rotative cooldowns and then doing nothing for 10 seconds while you're waiting for Condemn and Punish to be back up. If you're playing the faster fight version of the hero and you've taken Conviction at 4, Subdue gets a lot of value as well. Since you're just playing the fast initiate with Conviction, you want to slow them, go for the burst kill, and then back out. Makes a lot of sense to stray away from Blessed Momentum if your playstyle draws you more into that kind of direction. At level 10, I always go Blessed Shield. There's very few situations where you would ever want Falling Sword. Only time I would ever take it is if your entire team is trying to dive a backliner and there's no other way to get around their front line. But most of the time, Blessed Shield just does the job, and it just gives you the flexibility to go on any target you want. It's an extremely fast skill shot. It bounces, it's really easy to hit, and it's just one of the strongest engage tools that any tank has in their kit. At level 13 with this build, I tend to go Blessed Hammer. You're going, rather than the burst-oriented hard engage build with Roar, you go Blessed Hammer just for basically the sustained damage. You get a lot of value off of just having hammers flying around everywhere, and the damage does add up. If you get a good Blessed Hammer off and you get a blind afterwards and you hit 4 targets, it's up again already, so you can have 4 hammers going, and then once you auto your blind up again with your level 7 talent, you can have that same situation happen again pretty fast. And just off of that, you do put out a big chunk of spread damage, and it does really add up. I find a lot more value in it than Holy Fury, which kind of relies on you to hit a good condemn and then also stick on the targets, which is kind of unrealistic due to Johanna's lack of mobility. And yeah, as I was saying, if you did go the Conviction Subdue route and you're just trying to play for the fast burst kills, you can get a lot of value out of Roar. But in this build, I always go Blessed Hammer. Playing more off of the Blessed Momentum E talents, at this talent I go Holy Renewal almost always, just because you're playing for auto attacks, playing for more blinds, playing for long fights. You want to get Holy Renewal so that you get those extra heals off of hitting good blinds. So your blind is kind of a huge utility tool at this point. It marks them for more damage for your allies, it heals you for a lot, and it blinds them, and it gives you cooldown on your hammers. So it just kind of rounds out the entire build once you've hit 16. Other options, if you didn't go Blessed Momentum, since you're going more of a Subdue-oriented build, you can take either Fanaticism or Imposing Presence, depending on if you need a little more move speed to get to your targets, or if you need a little more CC or you're dying too fast to heavy auto heroes. At level 20, I almost always go indestructible. This allows you to basically just play fully recklessly. You don't need to pay attention to anything because no matter what, you have 4 seconds where you can't die anyways, and this allows your support to basically just ignore you, make sure they can focus 100% on saving your allies, and you can go really deep into the enemy team and set up kills like that. So indestructible is almost always the pick here, just due to the fact that it gives you more flexibility in the fight. If for some reason you're in a situation where you really can't die and the other team is only trying to kill your allies, you can get a lot of value from Blinded by the Light, since it just plays around getting more blinds up. You get basically a Storm Shield up much more often than usual, just because you can keep refreshing the cooldown by hitting big blinds. Or if you're playing just for absolute burst and you don't ever want to fight long fights, you can also go Radiating Faith just for the stun duration and just to have the entire team be able to be stunned. But as I said, I go indestructible almost always. So yeah, this is my standard Johanna build. It tends to shift between this build and the Subdue Conviction version of the build depending on the current meta. Right now, this build seems to feel a little stronger, but I wouldn't sleep on the Subdue build. And just keep your eye on it and see how it feels. If you like the quicker playstyle of Subdue Conviction more, that build is always strong, and you can't really go wrong with it either. This more sustained blind-based build just feels a little bit more consistent and makes the hero feel a little stronger overall. I hope that helps everyone out. Johanna is one of my favorite heroes, so I really recommend picking her up. She's just an extremely strong tank right now. She's very flexible. She's fun to play, to me at least. I've been criticized for saying that just because some people don't enjoy her, but I like her playstyle of just kind of walking around, grouping everybody up with your little vacuum condemn, and then setting up team fights and letting your allies hit abilities off of that. Yeah, good luck with her in Hero League, and thanks for watching.